It's a group nap time. Banksy has such a tough life. The poor guy is just so overworked and underappreciated. Look at how exhausted he is from his long week of hanging out in the pasture with his friends, doing nothing. Hi, Janice B. Jones, are you following me? Just like scratch my butt. Scratch my butt. Hi, children. You guys aren't cuddling, but you are laying pretty close considering you have a whole field. You can literally see every spot that Pogo has laid down and rolled in because there's hair everywhere. Me and my son. He cut his nose on something. Gala has gone up and he's not happy. He's like, why are all these chestnut girls surrounding me? Leave me alone. And then there's Pogo, who's a carcass now. It's carcass hour. There's a pile of redheads. Am I the queen of chestnuts, guys? Because all of y'all seem to like me the best. We're so pissed. Banksy's like, I don't want to share, and there's orange girls everywhere. Milo's the only chestnut staying in his lane because he's eating. There's Milo over there with Mesa. Look at how tiny Mesa looks compared to the big girl, Athena. Athena's huge. She's like over 17 hands, but even Milo makes her look like a miniature horse. Now Pogo's up, but Banksy's like, I don't mind when Pogo touches me because Pogo my best friend. It's like, Junus B on the other hand. Excuse you? Oh, really? Pogo, you love your Banksy so much. You love your Banksy so much. Junus B. He's rubbing his head on him. You're so annoying. Oh, you just clocked him in the head, you douchebag. Banksy's like, ugh. My life is so hard. He bashed your head with his head. What the heck? Oh my god, bro, you have grooming stations and instead you're harassing your poor little sleeping friend. We got a good spot. I think, oh, you've got a bite mark there. Everyone please pray for Banksy. He's fine. He just has a very tough life. And as you can see, he's a very busy guy who just has so much on his plate. So just please pray for him because his life is just so hard. It's really hard being a stay-at-home gelding with no real job who just gets to sleep all day. She says, please scratches. Please scratches me. Are you gonna itch me back? Just be nice and don't bite my titty, because unlike you, I don't like being scratched as hard as your friends, you know? Okay, this little man's has just kind of been sitting and hasn't been ridden in like a week and a half or 2 weeks. So I'm just gonna hop right on and see how he is. He's turning 5 later this month. Isn't that wild? Can you believe it's been this long? Also, he's a very dirty little schnoz because he enjoys his turmeric dinner with his whole face. Can I fix your hair? Sir, he's like, I'm just noticing how they finished building this and it's a little scary and new. So, are you scared? Is that so scary? Big snort and then just eats. Stress eating, but still. Okay, shall we go have a little look? a little lookaroo. Okay, come on. Come on. Come on, Bonks. Good boy. Is it scary? Let's go have another look. Come on. He says, I'm nervous. He says, I'm a bit of, Phoebe, watch out. I'm a little bit of a snorty boy, but otherwise I'm pretty chill. Good boy. I like letting the horses graze while I'm riding sometimes, especially if they're a little snorty. Like, he's a little bit excited today and he's not been out here in a while, and it looks quite different because spring has sprung and now everything's blooming. So letting him graze just gives him some like anxiety relief a little bit, and it makes it more fun for him because I want them to like coming out here. But also, like, look at how thick he's gotten. He's just growing so much and he's like looking like an adult more and more. So pretty cool. That hay bale got moved there and Banksy's afraid of it, so we're just chilling and eating some grass kind of close by to it because he was snorting and being a little bit of a fool. So we just want it to not be scary. So I got off and we're just chilling because I don't want to like have him feel like he has to like chase up to like scary things and feel trapped, because I want him to be curious and like self-regulate. So stuff like this really helps with that if you just like get off, because then they have like a buddy that they can follow towards things. So yeah, he gets to eat a snack and then we're gonna slowly make our way closer until he realizes that it's not a threat, because like once he gets close he's probably gonna realize it's just a round bale, but it's new. So from far away especially, he's like, what the heck is that? It's stuff like this that a lot of people view as boring, or like letting him get away with stuff, or like coddling him, but like he's a flight animal and flight animals get scared of new things. And like if we want to have horses not behave that way and have them go against their very nature, we have to kind of help them out and make it safe to do so and help them feel safe. So this looks like we're not doing anything. It looks like I'm just letting him have snack time, but he's still surveilling a little bit and looking up at that round bale, so he's still concerned about it. But the end goal is just going to be for it to be this really pleasant, non-exciting experience, so that the next time he sees something, whether it's that a round bale like that or something else, that he doesn't have to panic. Like if I had chased him up to it and made it this whole thing and was like kicking and whipping him to get him to go up there, it would create a very negative experience, and I'd also have escalated his behavior to the point where he'd probably be trying to bolt, or he'd be shying and spooking, or bucking and rearing, and that wouldn't be good. Right now at this point all he's done is look at it and then looked away because he's a little bit afraid of it, and then he just keeps looking up at it. So it's a very manageable reaction at this point. That's the way I want it to be. The way I think about it too is for like when I eventually let more new people ride him, especially if they're like not super confident, solid riders, I want him to be the type of horse that even if like the unexpected happens and something surprises him, that he can self-regulate well enough that he's not likely to have some big gigantic reaction that could hurt someone. So we're slowly walking closer, and as we get a little closer he's nervous. You can tell because he's snorting a bit, and then he also couldn't sit down and, well, not sit down, he couldn't chill out and eat right away. Like notice how he's walking past the grass and we're just kind of circling. If he needs to walk, that's what I'm just gonna let him do, and then he'll stop and eat once he kind of settles a little bit, like right there. And then this is just what we're going to encourage, because if he's so nervous that he won't eat, it's a pretty high level of anxiety. Right now he's kind of grass snatching, so we still know he's nervous, but at least he's eating, and we're a lot closer now. So we're just going to keep kind of moving closer, and then he'll probably want to march right up to it once we get close enough and he's decided from far away that it's not a threat. So yeah, it's really that simple. And the way that he's approaching this is quite normal for horses. Like he's walking a little closer, but he's doing it in a circular motion. So he walks closer, then walks a little further away, and then walks a bit closer, and then walks a little bit further away, kind of like spiral circling in and out. And that's a really normal way for horses to approach things that they're afraid of, because it just gives them a chance to kind of suss out whether or not it's a threat. So yeah, pretty pleased with him because I'm not really leading the way. He's kind of just doing this himself right now. The other thing to note is that this type of training starts with honoring your horse's fear and developing rapport with them so that they can trust that you're not going to like make them run right up to something where you're like kicking or whipping them to do it, and they feel trapped between like your leg and the pressure you're putting on them and the thing they're afraid of. Like he's been rewarded a lot for approaching things that he's afraid of, so we've developed that rapport. Like you can see the hay bale's right there and we're still eating, and he's just kind of moving closer and closer. And it's encouraged him to be more likely to check things out, because keep in mind that like approaching things that could be potentially dangerous or scary for horses is quite an abnormal behavior for a flight animal. Like, they're curious and they will check things out, but to the extent that we want them to approach all these new objects and like how brave we expect them to be, it's not a super normal characteristic for a flight animal, because they more or less try to avoid things that feel unsafe to them. So I encourage him to be more likely to be curious and brave by making it a rewarding experience. So now he's walking right up to it. Something to note is that he could get close and then spook and decide it's overwhelming and run away. So I'm just going to be mindful of that and ready to step out of the way. But he's pretty curious of it. He wants to check it out. So we're circling again, but now it's right there, really close. And yeah, just be mindful that when they approach things, even if they're doing it themselves and they're walking quite bravely, sometimes they can get right up to it, touch the object, and then be like, oh my God, it's scary, and then dart away. So just be ready for that. Ideally, if you work them up to it slow enough like this, where they're really gradually getting to kind of get comfortable with it, then you won't have that type of response. But it's just something to keep in mind so you don't get stepped on. And if I was on him, this process would be harder for him because he's getting comfort from me being on the ground with him rather than on him. And like, it's gonna become a situation where I can be on him and this type of thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna get off every single time, but at this point he's honestly probably had only like 30-ish rides since I started him under saddle. Like, he's not been ridden a ton, so he's quite green. And in this case, since he's such a normally chill guy and very little spooks him, especially to the point where he gets like snorty and blowy, and he's had so much time off, it was just a better decision, especially for my own safety and if I don't want it to be a negative experience for him. So I kind of made that executive decision, and it's like, ride the horse you have on any particular day, because there's always going to be different variables. And of course, on today, one of the variables is that he's had time off and he's a baby. And yeah. Okay, so now we're going to approach it again. And you can see he's following me again, and now we're right up to it. He's just eating around it, and now he just really doesn't care about it at all. I don't think he feels the need to touch it or anything, because he knows it's a hay bale now. I feed them round bales too sometimes, so like, he's seen what a round bale looks like. Just from far away, he's like, what the heck is that? That's new. And I mean, horses are very observant little creatures of their environment. But honestly, to be frank, like, desensitization for horses is one of the most incorrectly done things that I see showcased on the internet, because the way a lot of people desensitize is by essentially chasing the horse up to something they're afraid of and overwhelming them with that fear and having these big reactions before the horse eventually learns that they have no other choice and just kind of shuts down and lets it happen. Proper desensitization, you really shouldn't be seeing big reactions. Like, of course, accidents happen and you can accidentally push them a little too far where they get surprised, or if it's like a tarp or something that's liable to move, then it can be a situation where they get surprised when they march up to it, even if they've made the choice to go and be curious themselves. But desensitization should be done systematically, where you're very slowly introducing them to the stimulus. Don't eat it, please. Good boy. See how he doesn't care now? You shouldn't be eliciting major reactions. That's not the way it should be done. It's just a way that is very commonly showcased online, and it's not right. Phoebe's having such a good time. Yeah, now we're on the road marching back, and all in all, a good day. Hi, Phoebe. My toxic trait is that I just let Milo just be like a free man when I'm going and like untacking him and stuff, because he doesn't really go anywhere and he's a good off-leash horse, so he's just vibing. But also, like, check out how good this man's top line is looking. He's like the Benjamin Button of horses. He looks younger now than he did a few years ago. Look at him. Do we think this young man might accept an offering from me? Sir, can I give you an offering? Can I give you